Well, the sports world continues to adapt to the ever-fluid environment brought on by the pandemic, and that includes minor league hockey and the Indy Fuel. Bill Benner has more in this week's Inside Indiana Sports. Bill.
Gary, thank you. And indeed, the Fuel have announced they will begin their East Coast Hockey League season on December 11th at Indiana Farmers Coliseum in a split-season format that calls for their ECHL counterparts, like the Fort Wayne Comets, to not resume until perhaps January. Joining us today to discuss the return of the Fuel is the team's president and CEO, Larry McQueary. And Larry, welcome. Great to see you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, Bill.
Well, and we're pleased to have you on, and we're pleased to be looking forward to the start of the season. Of course, the Fuel, like so many other sports enterprises, had to shut down last March, and so I'm sure that you and your owner, Mr. Hallett, and everybody's as eager to get it going again.
It's been a long off season. Yeah, it's been we're typically playing by October. Now we're ready. We're itching to go.
Well, Larry, talk about, again, the split season format. Some of the 20-some member ECHL teams are coming back when you guys are here in a couple of weeks. Others are opting out until perhaps January, and some may not come back at all. So explain the thinking that went into that.
Yeah, it's because we're international, not just here. We have 2 teams in Canada, and so it's based on jurisdictions or restrictions you have, things along those lines. And so we had to make a decision, each team, what was best for you and for your organization. We had 3 choices. One was what we call temporary pandemic suspension, means you take a year off completely. We definitely didn't want that, but 8 of our teams have already chosen that because, like Canada, it's just not realistic for them to play, as an example. And then 13 teams, including ourselves, have chose what we call Window 1, which means starting December 11th and playing a complete full season, with the remaining teams having a couple weeks here still to decide, and they would start mid-January roughly and play a partial season.
Talk about some of the safety protocols. Again, you will have some fans at Farmers Coliseum. It certainly won't be a full house, but you will have some fans. Talk about some of the protocols that you will undertake.
Yeah, it's the same type of protocols you hear at other places such as Lucas Oil Stadium and such, but obviously social distancing is very important. So when you're sitting, it'll be the pod concept that I'm sure many of the folks have heard about already, but you'll be sitting in pods, that, whether it be family or friends or people you have been around and comfortable with, and there'll be no one next to you, no one within 6 feet. No one will have to walk over you at all. So wherever your seats are, you won't have that, and you also have no one directly in front of you. So it's definitely going to be spaced out, and of course, masks are going to be required, and hand sanitizing stations everywhere, and we've taken every protocol you can possibly think of.
For those who have been to Fuel games, it's a great atmosphere. I mean, the hockey is great, but it's a great atmosphere as well. And I know your owner, Jim Hallett, wants to make sure that no matter how many people are at the Farmers Coliseum, it still has a really electric kind of feel.
Oh yeah, that was actually, this year it's just, we had to, as you mentioned, we shortened our season last year by 5 home games, and you got to take into account costs and things like that. But Jim pointed out to me, he goes, at no point are we going to cut the cost for our fans, whether it be a Wednesday night, Sunday, Friday, Saturday, whatever. We're still going to go full boat. We're going to have the flames. We're going to have the fireworks. We're going to have everything. We are not cutting any of that because whether it could be some kid's first game, but we want to make it memorable to them.
Larry, talk about what you're doing for your players and your teams. You have to travel, and you mentioned international travel, but that's got to be a hurdle as well.
Yeah, the travel. I mean, our biggest concern, to be honest, is the buses. They can, even when our players are on the buses, they're going to have to wear masks, and you'll find this kind of interesting and kind of funny in a way. But they're actually practicing sleeping with masks so they can kind of get used to that if they're sleeping on the bus. But we're going to be testing them twice a week. That's across the league, Monday and Thursdays, and we are going to they're basically going to live in a bubble, per se. We have requirements for our players. They can't go out to bars. They can only go to restaurants that have been approved by us. And it's not just the players. It's everyone in hockey ops. So it includes coaches, athletic trainers, equipment managers. So it's going to be a year like no other. But we've made a commitment. If we're going to start, we're going to finish. So we got everybody on board.
Larry, as we wrap up, and of course the Fuel, an affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks, is just briefly, if people want to come to a game, how do they go about it?
Hey, go to IndyFuelHockey.com. Right now, we only have ticket packages on sale because, again, capacity is a little bit limited. But as far as if we still have seats available, we'll put them on single game probably the 1st of December. And one thing I do want to mention, you mentioned we're an affiliate of the Blackhawks. With the Blackhawks starting later and the AHL starting later, there's a good chance that you'll see some really, the talent will be like we haven't seen here before. So you could see some NHL. You'll see more NHL, AHL players here than before because they're going to want good practice time before they might begin their season.
Well, Larry McQueary, the president and CEO of the Indy Fuel, we're excited about hockey returning to Farmers Coliseum. We wish you the best. Have a successful season.
Well, thank you, Bill. We want you to come out and all of your listeners.
I'll be there. Thanks, Larry.
All right. Thanks.
Gary, back to you.